More now on President Trump's sudden decision to dismiss the acting inspector general, set to be the watchdog over the coronavirus much-needed relief funds. Critics blasting the move as another example of President Trump chipping away at independent oversight. Joining us now, Democratic Congresswoman Katie Porter of California and Sara Nelson, president of the Association of Flight Attendants. They have been working together on an oversight plan for the stimulus money. Congresswoman, first, your reaction to the president removing the acting IG?
I think it's a terrible signal that he's sending to the American people, which is that he doesn't believe that we're all in this pandemic together and needing to make sure that working Americans are the backbone of any stimulus program. And so we need to have accountability. It's part of our job in Congress. And the fact that he's disrespecting the inspector generals makes the Congressional Oversight Commission even more important.
Okay, what we need and what we have are two different things. Congress doesn't have subpoena power, so what you going to do about it?
The Congressional Oversight Commission that's been established in the CARES Act does have subpoena power. It's a 5-member commission. Its entire purpose is to oversee the $500 billion that's sitting at Treasury. And so that Congressional Oversight Commission is different than the Inspector General's. It's outside of the executive branch. It's within Congress's purview, and it has all of the congressional authority, including subpoena power, which was given to it by the Bipartisan CARES Act. So that's a very important tool that we can use to make sure that the $500 billion doesn't turn into another TARP-style corporate bailout, but rather shores up workers who are the backbone of our economy.
But Congressman, you've seen what this administration has done with subpoenas. They've blown their nose with them.
I think that's one reason why it's really, really important to get the Oversight Commission up and running as quickly as possible so that we can begin engaging with Secretary Mnuchin in real time. This is partly going to be about what the public wants and satisfying the American public's demands to put workers first. And we saw in the model that the airline industry was able to get in the CARES Act that there is a way that we can make sure that this isn't a Wall Street bailout, but rather is support for working families. So that means if we do this oversight and we're in real-time conversation with the American public about where their taxpayer dollars are going in this $500 billion bailout, we're not looking back and saying it should have been different. We're actively engaging with the Secretary of the Treasury to make sure that before those billions of dollars fly out of his fund, that there are appropriate conditions put on them to protect workers.
Right on. Sara, what would that look like? What does that look like for the aviation industry?
Stephanie, what we did in the CARES Act was to have just 1.25% of the $2 billion CARES Act directed right at workers, keeping them in their jobs and their paychecks going. Now, the deadline for the Treasury to get that money out the door to the airlines so that that could go to people's paychecks was yesterday. So he has missed the deadline and is making this process more complicated than it needs to be. And as we heard from Maureen Bittinger-Grisius in the last segment, everyone needs to do their part here. This is about life and death. So as airlines are going out of business, like Compass Airlines did yesterday, there are more people going to the unemployment lines. If we don't direct this money and get this to people's paychecks and keep them in their jobs, we're going to have more people on those unemployment lines and increasing the death rate, frankly, because we've got more interaction between the public. That is not what we want here, and that is why we are working so hard to make sure that Treasury makes the airline provisions work so that the Congressional Oversight Committee can do their work to apply the same principles for the American public across the board.
Then, Congresswoman, why not take a different approach instead of going with complicated PPP program or expanded or the $500 billion bailout? Why wouldn't the government just take over payroll, ADP and the other big payroll operations, and start paying all of those employees?
Well, that's exactly the framework that the airline industry fought for and got, which is exactly what Sara's talking about, which is basically recognizing that big corporations are also big employers. They have those payroll systems and they have the health care benefits and health insurance right now that are so critical. We have so many millions and millions of people who depend on their job and on their continued payroll to get those health care, retirement benefits, all of those things. So if we use the model that the airline unions fought for, that and we can apply that to other corporations, we basically are creating the same kind of payroll support for large corporations with appropriate conditions to prevent, corporate abuse, buybacks, dividends, cheating consumers, but we're going to keep people on payroll, and that is the best way we can ensure that our economy is ready to bounce back as we recover from this pandemic.
Ladies, thank you so much. In this very dark time, it gives me some joy in the morning to speak to smart women who are leading and making a difference. Up next, healthcare providers